And then the chapter closes with Searle's use of hip hop. Again, it's kind of like, yeah, just talking about how we assume things based on how people look. But she comes back to it. She comes back to hip hop culture to talk about it as a struggle against powerful forces that have been marginalized. Yeah, how hip hop can be empowering for youth, right, all around the world, and that it started as kind of a form of resistance for black and brown youth in New York. And so, sort of talking about that, it often gives voice to disenfranchised people. Yeah, so um, it's a way of cultural pride, finding cultural pride and a voice. Hip hop allows for that. Offers multiple coalition building, yeah, across differences, right? Yeah, even particularly what young white youth now often identify with hip hop and how it allows for multicultural coalition building across differences, particularly in terms of race and culture. But at the same time, right, things aren't just one thing, right? So these are all the ways that hip hop is a positive and actually allows space for like social justice ends, making the world a better place. It's also problematic, right? In some ways, like things aren't just one thing, right? It's a both and, right? Uh, it's not just hip hop is only good, right? There's also aspects of it that are problematic, right? So hyper masculinity that often denigrates, objectifies, and violates women, sexual minorities, and men. Yeah, definitely. And you see that a lot in hip hop, and it's something that I think needs to be critiqued and changed. I think a lot of different forms of music actually do this. I would actually say it's not actually unique to hip hop at the same time, right? Rock and roll, punk, right, seem to sort of do this too. And when you need to call that out, often idealizes and glamorizes violence, drugs, and rampant consumerism. Yes, there definitely is that in hip hop. And so, yeah, it's not one thing, and I think that both and approach for many things to understand the nuances of it is really important for intercultural communication and understanding the, the messiness of intersectionality, right, and the complicatedness of our identities and body politics. And that's really where the chapter ends. Yeah, she kind of uses that hip hop thing. I know it could be kind of annoying where she's like yo 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 yo. She's trying to use relevant culture, hip hop culture, to kind of connect to these issues. And then she ends with the Grandmaster Flash video from I think what the late '70s. Check that out. It's a powerful social critique of like Reagan's ghettos, which would be actually be the '80s. I mean, I think it's like early '80s, and the role of crack cocaine and disenfranchisement in urban areas. That and that's how hip hop grew up, how what hip hop came from. And so check out that video if you haven't. Grandmaster Flash, the message. Okay, that ends chapter 3.